Jo, a 72-year-old woman, has always loved nuts. She believed that eating a handful of nuts every day would keep her healthy and help prevent disease. However, due to a lack of accurate information, she regularly ate raw, bitter almonds, unaware that they contain compounds that can turn into toxic cyanide. Over time, she began experiencing headaches, dizziness, and persistent fatigue, but she brushed it off as normal signs of aging. It wasn't until she was hospitalized that doctors confirmed she had chronic poisoning with liver and nervous system damage. The very nuts she thought were keeping her healthy had, little by little, contributed to her body's decline quietly and unexpectedly. Jo's story is not unique. After 65, the digestive system slows down, the liver and kidneys have to work harder, and the body's ability to detoxify weakens significantly. Nuts, if not chosen carefully, eaten improperly, or not suited to an individual's health condition, can cause slow, silent, and long-lasting damage. Sometimes even one small handful of the wrong nuts can spark oxidative stress, inflammation, and irreversible cellular damage. That said, understanding these hidden risks doesn't mean cutting nuts out of your diet completely. On the contrary, with smart choices, nuts remain one of nature's most precious gifts, providing energy, protecting heart health, boosting memory, and aiding digestion. The real issue isn't whether to eat nuts or not, but knowing which ones to eat, how much to eat, and how to eat them properly. In the upcoming content, we'll dive deeper into 5 types of nuts people over 65 should avoid to protect their health, along with 5 types they should prioritize to maintain vitality, sharpness, and joy each day. Every smart choice you make, every small but precise change today, is truly a gift you're giving yourself during the most precious years of your life. 5 types of nuts that people over 65 years old should avoid or limit. 1. Salty pistachios. When a little strong taste becomes a silent burden for the aging body. Pistachios have long been popular for their nutty flavor and crunchy feeling when chewed, but behind the layer of salt covering each small grain is a silent danger, especially for those who have passed the age of 65. When young, the body can easily adjust after a salty meal. But in old age, every biological system becomes more sensitive. The kidneys slow down, blood vessels are no longer as flexible as before, and pressure on the heart easily increases from even small changes in diet. The amount of salt in salted pistachios often exceeds the safe level for the elderly. Just a handful of nuts can take the body beyond the allowed amount of sodium in a day. Salt not only increases blood pressure, but also causes the body to retain water, causing edema, fatigue, and in the long term can damage the heart, kidneys, and brain. Sudden dizziness, restless sleep, or the feeling of the heart beating faster than normal sometimes do not come from age but from salty nuts that are consumed regularly, but few people pay attention. At this age, salty taste is no longer a spice to add to the appetite, but can be something that makes blood vessels tense, the heart more tired, and the body has to fight silently. Instead of completely eliminating pistachios, a nut that is very rich in nutrients, the advice for people over 65 is to choose the no salt or less salt to retain all the heart, brain, and digestive benefits without sacrificing blood pressure and kidney health. 2. Rancid walnuts. When healthy fats become free radicals that silently destroy health in old age. Walnuts are considered liquid gold in the world of food for the elderly. Rich in omega-3, good fats, and antioxidants, walnuts can support the brain, improve memory, protect the heart, and reduce arthritis, common problems after age 65. Unfortunately, many people are using these nuts in a state that is no longer fresh, or more accurately, has been damaged. Without even knowing it. In a normal state, The unsaturated fats in walnuts provide great benefits, but with prolonged exposure to air, light, or high humidity, those fats begin to deteriorate oxidation, create free radicals, are molecules that cause inflammation, break down cell structure, and promote the aging process. For young people, the body can partially resist this oxidation, but after age 65, the ability to neutralize free radicals clearly declines, making this harm deeper and more persistent. It is very difficult to tell if a walnut has gone rancid. They still retain their shape, sometimes have a slightly pungent smell or mild taste, but few people pay attention. However, when consumed, they can cause potential inflammatory reactions, affecting joints, liver, brain, and also digestive system. Dull pain in the knees, feeling tired after eating, or lack of memory can originate from toxic oxidants that enter the body every day through seemingly nutritious seeds. For people over 65 years old, using walnuts is not just an expensive choice, but a choice right time and properly stored. Prioritize buying seeds with intact shells, stored in a cool, airtight environment, and used up within a short time after opening the bag. Because a fresh walnut is a tonic, and a rancid nut is a fire that ignites cells that have become fragile over time. 3. Moldy peanuts, silent enemy of the liver and immune system after age 65. Peanuts are a familiar dish, easy to find and often used as a rustic snack, even considered a good source of plant protein. But behind that small shell is a big danger, especially serious for people over 65 years old. Molds produce aflatoxins. When peanuts are improperly stored, kept in a damp, poorly ventilated place, or prolonged storage time, it is easy to develop a fungus called Aspergillus flavus. This fungus produces aflatoxin, one of the most potent carcinogens known in nature. Elderly body with liver activity slows down, detoxification ability is reduced, and weaker immune system, the more vulnerable you are to this toxin. The concern is aflatoxin. There is no obvious taste, and mold is not always present to the naked eye. Many people eat peanuts without knowing they are loading their bodies with toxins that accumulate over time. After age 65, the ability to regenerate liver cells decreases, so if you take in a small amount of aflatoxin every day, it can cause liver damage in the long term. Cirrhosis, liver cancer, or impaired immune function. Signs like mild jaundice, right upper quadrant pain, poor appetite, prolonged fatigue. It's easy to overlook, but it's an early warning that the liver is being overloaded. For the elderly, peanuts should only be used if stored carefully in a dry place, away from sunlight and not left for too long after opening the packaging. Prioritize products with clear origins and food safety and hygiene certificates. And if you detect any unusual signs of smell, color, or texture, don't hesitate to remove it. This caution is not a worry, but a self-protection worthy of the remaining precious years of life. 4. Raw cashews. Invisible irritant but dangerous for aging skin and stomach. Cashew nuts have long been loved not only because of their natural sweetness, but also because of their ease of preparation and use. For the elderly, this seems to be the perfect snack. Easy to chew, delicious and nutritious. However, few people know that if not thoroughly heat-treated, raw cashew nuts contain an extremely irritating substance, a threat that people over 65 years old need to be especially careful of: urushiol. Urushiol is a compound found in raw cashew shells, the same type of allergen in poison ivy. In young people, the body sometimes still has enough strength to cope with temporary inflammatory reactions. But in older people, skin is thinner, mucous membranes are more sensitive, and the immune system is often weakened, such that even small amounts of urushiol can cause lasting, unpleasant reactions. Itching, rashes, burning skin around the mouth, stomach pain, bloating, or feeling nauseous after eating can all stem from using cashews that have not been processed properly. Many elderly people have felt uncomfortable after a meal, but thought it was due to age or indigestion. However, the root cause sometimes lies in the raw cashew nuts themselves, or poorly roasted, without enough heat to completely remove the toxic oil layer on the outside. Therefore, at this age, it is important not just to eat cashews, but to eat them. The right kind has been steamed, roasted thoroughly, and completely removed from the skin and outer oil. Carefully processed cashews will provide a source of good fats, support heart health, and provide magnesium and copper, important trace minerals that help maintain memory, reduce osteoporosis, and support sleep in the elderly. A small choice, but if done right, will become a decent part of the journey to living a healthy, happy life after the age of 65. 5. Bitter almonds. Small nuts but contain great toxicity to a weakened body. Almonds have long been known as a healthy nut, but not everyone knows the difference between them. Sweet almonds and bitter almonds. For people over 65 years old, this confusion can have serious consequences because bitter almonds, even if eaten in small amounts, can still cause dangerous reactions to the nervous, respiratory, and circulatory systems. The reason lies in a compound named amygdalin. When entering the body, amygdalin can be broken down into hydrogen cyanide, a toxin known in medicine as an agent that causes respiratory arrest, neurotransmitter disturbances, and cellular oxygen depletion. The scary thing is that just about 50 bitter almonds for a healthy adult can cause severe poisoning. As for people over 65 years old, yes, weak liver, poor lungs, and slower metabolism, that danger threshold could be much lower. Symptoms of cyanide poisoning do not come suddenly, but start with mild but easily overlooked signs such as headache, dizziness, nausea, irregular heartbeat, or unusual feeling of fatigue. If not recognized promptly, toxin accumulation can lead to respiratory failure, low blood pressure, and even death. Many cases of hospitalization for poisoning from bitter almonds have been recorded, especially in countries where these nuts are still used in folk foods without treatment. At the age of 65, the body no longer has much ability to correct careless food choices. And bitter almonds, while they may bring a new flavor, are not worth the trade-off. If you are not sure about the origin or are not processed by reputable food establishments, the best way is absolutely avoid use. Prioritized sweet almonds have been tested because just one safe choice can create a solid protection for health that is becoming more and more fragile. 5 types of nuts to eat for people over 65 years old. 1. Hazelnuts. Gentle but persistent in protecting the heart and brain in old age. Not too prominent, not loudly appearing in nutrition trends, hazelnut quietly holds a solid value, especially for those living in their twilight years, where health needs gentle and stable support rather than strong solutions. For people over 65 years old, hazelnuts are a precious gift from nature: monounsaturated fats, vitamin E, and natural fiber. What's special about hazelnuts is their ability cholesterol balance, helps reduce LDL, bad cholesterol, without affecting HDL, good cholesterol. This is an extremely important factor for the elderly. People whose circulatory system and blood vessels are no longer as flexible as before. Not only does it protect the heart, vitamin E in hazelnuts also helps slow down the aging process of cells, maintains brain clarity, and supports the prevention of neurodegenerative diseases. Plus, the natural fiber content in hazelnuts helps regulate blood sugar, stabilizes digestion, a frequent but often neglected need in the elderly. When used regularly, hazelnuts not only make the body healthier, but also bring peace of mind because it is a safe, benign, and delicate choice for a body in need of sustainable nourishment. 2. Brazil nuts. Small amount, big value. The secret to restarting immunity after age 65. If there is a seed that can be compared to nature's micronutrient pill, then Brazil nuts is the brightest candidate. For young people, it is a strange dish. But for people after 65, this is a valuable natural source of selenium, can make a noticeable difference to your immune system, thyroid function, and overall health. Selenium is an essential trace mineral, acting as an armor to protect cells from damage caused by free radicals, and participating in the production of important antioxidant enzymes. In older people, especially after 65, the amount of selenium in the body tends to decrease due to poor absorption and a diet poor in micronutrients. This deficiency can lead to a series of subtle but worrying symptoms such as weakness, sleep disorders, decreased memory, and significantly weakened resistance. Just with 1 to 2 Brazil nuts per day, elderly people can provide enough selenium necessary for thyroid function, support metabolism regulation, increase energy, and improve mood. Studies also show that selenium is closely related to reduce the risk of chronic diseases such as cancer, cardiovascular disease, and cognitive decline. All are top concerns at this age. It is important not to consume too much. Brazil nuts do not need to be eaten in large quantities to be effective. On the contrary, it is moderation and correct dosage that is wise use, especially for the elderly who need gentle conditioning without putting pressure on the liver or kidneys. A small seed, but a big stepping stone for a strong immune system and a healthy, peaceful old age. 3. Unsalted pistachios. Compact, easy to digest, friendly to the heart and digestive system in old age. In the world of natural foods, pistachio is a great example of the balance between taste and nutritional value. Especially for people over 65 years old, unsalted version of pistachios is not only an attractive snack, but also a positive support tool for heart health, blood pressure, digestion, and vision. At this age, many people often face the condition high blood pressure, digestive disorders, and aging-related vision loss. Unsalted pistachios, with content good fats, plant protein, fiber, and natural antioxidants like lutein and beta-carotene, can help address many of those concerns simultaneously. A small serving of pistachios every day does not overload the body. On the contrary, supports blood pressure regulation, help maintain a stable heart rate, and improves blood vessel elasticity. Without a layer of salt, the seeds retain their natural sweetness and avoid the risk of increasing the burden on the kidneys and circulatory system, something that needs to be strictly controlled after age 65. The fiber in pistachios is also especially useful for the somewhat slow digestive system of the elderly. It helps enhance intestinal motility, supports healthy intestinal microflora, thereby improving nutrient absorption and a feeling of lightness after each meal. At the same time, lutein, a special antioxidant found in this nut, helps protect the retina, supports vision, and slows down macular degeneration, which is very common in older people. Unsalted pistachios don't need to be a main dish, but they are a smart little choice, gentle yet impactful, contribute to maintaining vitality, spirit, and alertness in every day of healthy living in old age. 4. Fresh walnuts, golden source of nutrients that help protect memory and heart after age 65. There are nuts that are not only food, but also a form of cell care from deep within. Fresh walnuts is a typical example. For young people, this is a trendy dish, but for people over 65, it is a valuable source of nutrients, helps support the brain, reduce inflammation, stabilize blood vessels, and support sleep. all important pillars of healthy aging. The highlight of walnuts is their content of vegetable omega-3, a type of fat that has powerful anti-inflammatory effects, has been shown to help reduce vascular stiffness, improve blood circulation, and support cardiovascular function. For the elderly, this is a vital factor because as long as blood vessels are flexible, the heart is healthy, and the brain is supplied with enough oxygen, the body will maintain remarkable clarity and endurance over the years. Not only are they good for the heart, walnuts are also recognized by many studies as having a positive effect on the heart, cognitive function, and memory. Regularly supplementing a small amount every day can help slow down the symptoms of memory loss, support the prevention of neurodegeneration, and maintain a more alert and refreshed mind. At age 65 onwards, when the brain easily falls into a state of fatigue, a handful of walnuts can become a silent but effective companion. In addition, walnuts also bring fiber, protein, and natural antioxidants, help support digestion, enhance immunity, and limit chronic inflammatory reactions, things that are essential when the body's no longer able to recover as quickly as before. It is important to use it. The seeds are new, not rancid or have lost their smell, because when oxidized, the fats in the seeds will transform into harmful free radicals. For people over 65 years old, choose the right type of seeds and store them properly, not just technical details, but the foundation for long-term health. Fresh walnuts, small, simple, but are the key to a wise spirit, a healthy heart, and a gentle, self-controlled old age. 5. Sweet almonds, a pure gift that nourishes the body and spirit in old age. In the world of nuts, sweet almonds has a gentle and elegant beauty. Not too rich, does not require elaborate processing, but quietly brings extremely profound values, especially for those who have passed the age of 65, a period when the body needs delicate, persistent, and gentle care more than ever. The strength of the almond does not lie in its prominence, but in the perfect balance of good fats, vegetable protein, soluble fiber, and vitamin E. Golden elements help support cardiovascular health, regulate blood sugar, nourish the skin, and maintain memory. For the elderly, where the digestive system is no longer agile and the process of absorbing nutrients becomes slower, almonds are a smart choice. With just one handful every day, the body can receive the necessary amount of fiber to stabilize blood sugar, improve intestinal bacteria, and relieve the feeling of bloating after eating. At the same time, quantity monounsaturated fats in almonds contribute reduced bad cholesterol, protects blood vessel walls, thereby reducing pressure on the heart, which is already tired after many years of nonstop work. Can't help but mention it, vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that plays a key role in slows down the cell aging process, protects memory and keeps skin soft, bright, and healthy at an age when time often leaves its most obvious traces. For people over 65 years old, where every cell needs to be cared for like a garden at the end of the season, sweet almonds are like a light rain, watering from the inside, unobtrusive but extremely effective. The special thing is the sweet almonds, easy to combine in daily meals, can be eaten directly, added to a bowl of porridge, mixed with yogurt, or lightly mashed into a morning smoothie. Regardless of form, almonds still remain clean, pure, and healthy, exactly what the elderly body needs at this time. Not too much, not too little. Just regularly and properly, sweet almonds will become a close friend, not only supporting the body, but also comforting the spirit gently and sustainably in each day of slow but profound living in old age. After age 65, every small choice can make a big difference in your health. A deeper sleep, a steadier step, and a morning without prolonged fatigue sometimes start with something seemingly simple, a suitable type of grain. We no longer live in a time when we can eat quickly, live quickly, or let our bodies adapt. The body at this time is like an old friend, loyal and sensitive, demanding to be listened to, cared for, and carefully selected in every small detail. The nuts you put into your body not only bring nutrition, but also carry the message, I value myself, I do not compromise with old habits, and I am willing to adjust to live lighter and smarter every day. Staying away from nuts that can cause harm, even if only silent harm, is an act of mindfulness. At the same time, choosing the right seeds that nourish the brain, protect the heart, and support digestion is the way you invest in quality of life, not just longevity. At this age, initiative does not lie in big changes, but in the ability to understand your body, choose the right things you need, and persevere with good habits. A handful of nuts a day, if chosen correctly, can be the healthiest medicine. No prescription needed, no side effects, just enough understanding and self-love. And if you are at this age or are accompanying your parents and grandparents through the golden period of life, remember that every decision about what to eat, how to live, can rewrite how we grow old. Not in fear and dependence, but in peace and stability.